Kadosh, Boker Or Bekiim Bahalacha, day 7, page 30. Halacha Yud Bet 12. Lying for the sake of humility. Are you allowed to lie for humility? Yesterday we were speaking about obviously the entire concept of being humble. So now the question is, can you lie, right, for humility? Yesterday we also spoke about, are you allowed to do good deeds in front of others? For example, your children, in order that they should be able to learn and to become better. So he says like this: if someone has certain pious practices and he wishes to hide this fact from others people's, either because he wishes not to be praised for it or because he does not wish to be considered a show-off, he may lie to hide his pious practice, fulfilling the dictum at Snei Alechet im Elohecha. He's allowed to lie in order to get out of it. You remember yesterday he said about the entire story about the person that basically ate in order not to, he stopped his 72-hour fast, so in order to drink the coffee. But again, but here technically you're allowed to lie. So I'm meaty. I don't know what. You understand? Whatever the case is. Okay, fine. Number 18. Telling lies for the sake of humbleness. Rule that it's permissible to lie in order to hide the fact that one acts with extra piety. He proved this from Rashi's interpretation of the Gemara in Bab Metzia, Kav Gimel. Remember, those are the things that you're allowed to be l'shanot. We just did it in Daf Yomi a while back. There are three things that you're allowed to lie to be l'shanot. Yudah said name Shmuel, and 3 instances of Talmid Chacham is allowed to lie. One of the 3 instances is Masechta. What does that mean? Rashi explains, if someone asks you, are you fluent in a particular Masechet? You could say no, even though you are. Right? Exactly. Yeah, so he says, apparently, one may lie in order to avoid making one's spiritual accomplishments known to others. Meaning, you don't want to start flaunting and saying, yeah, I know that Masechet. You know the other one? Yeah, I know that Masechet. I don't know. That's it. He's allowed to. So according to that Gemara, according to Rashi, so it comes out you're allowed to lie. That's what Rechim Vlache says.
Are you able to say, I've done it before, but I'm a little rusty. I don't know.
For sure you're allowed to say it. Sure, you're allowed to say it. But you're even allowed to say I'm not fluent, even though you're very fluent. Now, again, even with that, there's a lot of what to speak about. Because many times people say, are you really fluent? You understand why? Because there's different levels of fluent. Fluent, there could be that mamash, you know about peh. And then other things, fluent is that you don't know about peh, but maybe you know the Shekel of Tanya very well. And other, so it all depends. Meaning that, so therefore there's, No, because you're allowed to lie in order to be humbleness. People show off. That's what the people know. People showcase. Yes, nothing to do with All right? So therefore, that's what he says. Rav Chida, the otherwise, from the Rambam, who did not interpret the Gemara that way, he wrote that a genuine Torah scholar may lie on 2 occasions only. Only when it's necessary in order to promote peace between individuals, and the other one is to avoid challenges to one's Torah scholarship. For example, if a Torah scholar is learning Nidah, he may tell others that he's learning Mikvaot in order to discourage from questioning him about Nidah. The Lechem Mishneh clarified this, adding the Torah scholar does not wish to be asked questions since he's afraid that he will not remember the answers and he will be embarrassed. According to this, the Rambam did not agree that a Torah scholar may lie simply for humility's sake. So it comes out that there's a machloket between the Rav Chida and Rechim Valache, and it's all based upon the Gemara. If you learn the Gemara, the Pshat in the Gemara, the Mesechta, means that I didn't learn it, meaning I don't know it, even though you do know it perfectly, so then you're allowed to lie for humbleness sake. But if you learn it like the Rambam, you're not allowed to then. So he says that Rav Chida brought support for Rashi's opinion from the Talmud's account of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, who went to heaven while he's still alive, and in Gan Eden, he introduced himself to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He asked him, was there ever a rainbow in your days? So he went and he said, yes, right? It wasn't true. He did not wish to acknowledge that he was such a great tzaddik and that his merit supported the world, and that during his lifetime, the appearance of a rainbow was unnecessary. The Rabbi refuted this proof. He says, why? That Rav Chida concluded that it's permissible to lie in order to not to show off one's piety, and in fact, he suggested that the Rambam agreed with this halacha as well. The Petach Hadvid and the Yosef Otzma Omet Suspa would reason that it is permissible to lie in order to maintain peace among people. It must be permissible to lie in order to protect one's soul from being haughty, thus maintaining peace in one's soul. Because he wanted to make, according to everybody, you're allowed to lie, right, in order to come. Where do they learn that from? The Midrash. They learn it from Aaron HaKohen. Because Aaron HaKohen used to come to one person and say, the other guy, he really regrets it. He wants to say sorry, but he's so embarrassed. He doesn't even know how to come up to you. And then he used to go to the other guy and do the same thing. And then they used to both come together. And they wouldn't start talking about, 1 second, right? What's going, you understand? So he says, the Stechem and Saidi the Taz and the Magen Avraham, who both ruled that one may lie in order to maintain one's pious acts as secrets. And it is a wonder that Rav Chida and Rav Chaim Falash did not say. So he says, I don't understand. Why the Stechem it says, in Magen Avraham, they both say, you're allowed to lie. Right? So why didn't the Rav Chida and Rav Chaim Falash bring down the Magen Avraham and the Taz? Yeah? The Stechem, he says it. He doesn't understand. Yeah? Think about it. They're bringing Rayot from Rashi, but there's also a Charumim that brought down the Halacha L'Maaseh, you're allowed to do it. Right? So anyway, but this is again, this is there. So Rav Yosef the Ben Ishchai, he comes and he suggested a proof from the Gemara in Batra. Rabbi Yonatan, who denied having any Torah wisdom, was a disciple of Rabbi Yudah Nasi. And he refuted this proof, explaining that Rabbi Yonatan was afraid that if he admitted being a Torah scholar, he'll be guilty of using the Torah for personal gain. That we also learned yesterday. Right, of Rabbi Nisi Mashal, which we have Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, I think was the story. Right? So what happened? Which means that, right, that you don't want to use the Torah for your own personal gain. So when he lied and he said, I don't know any Torah, it wasn't that he says he just didn't want to gain from the Torah. This is a serious sin, as we taught in Avot, and there's no question that one may lie in order to avoid it. Okay? So again, you have it. Again, everyone was bringing different proofs from different Gemarot. There were different also refutations on each Gemara, but still, the halacha is like that. You're allowed to come and you're allowed to lie, right, for many different reasons, right, to get out of any type of haughtiness. Okay? Fine. Now this is going to be the rest of today's shiur, basically. It's going to be speaking about sleep. So some people, they love this shiur. Yeah? How much sleep do you need? What exactly? So sleep. So it says over here like this. He states that no one should make the mistake of thinking that the more one sleeps, the healthier is going to be. All expert doctors through the generations have agreed that people should sleep no less than 6 hours, but no more than 8 hours. Meaning a person shouldn't come and start saying, you know what, if I'm going to sleep 10 hours, I'm going to be more healthy. Doesn't exist, right? But don't start sleeping 4 hours a day, right? Or 3 hours a day, right? The body wears out. It's wear and tear. You understand? Meaning the body needs, right, to come and to sleep. You understand? More than this amount of sleep is injurious, right, to one's health. But if someone limits himself to 6 hours, he has fully satisfied his health requirements. Since one must worry about one's personal spiritual health as well as one's physical health, he should make do with 6 hours sleep, both during the summer and during the winter, and devote the rest of the time to Torah study, which is necessary for his spiritual health. Okay, if someone occasionally makes do with less than 6 hours, so he can devote more time to Torah study and spiritual health, be assured that the physical health will not suffer as a result. Again, occasionally, didn't say always. Right? The merit of this extra Torah learning will protect him and preserve his health. If someone decides to invest more in his physical health and sleeps through the night, thus denying his soul a lot of time, his soul will remain unprotected. Therefore, if someone sleeps less on Thursday nights, the night before Rosh Chodesh, or during the month of Elul, he doesn't have to worry about his physical health because, look also the Mishnah, because he's got the refuat nefesh taking over for the refuat guf. Usually in Elul, it's a little bit more difficult, or it's much more difficult to sleep because remember, you're here at 5:30, it's much more difficult. So again, but try to make it 6 hours. How much sleep is necessary? Number 19. The recently published Conceal by the Ben Ishchai is a source of a number of phrases in the Bekiim Bahalacha. He added, it would be a very fine thing if people should always limit themselves to no more than 6 hours during the night and use the remaining hours of the night to improve one's soul through Torah study. Furthermore, they should try to sleep even less than 6 hours on occasion, such as Thursday nights, night before the Chodesh, high holidays. Yeah, the Shovavim, Mishmar. On these days, people should push themselves to Torah study as much as possible, and they can rest assured that no physical harm will come to them. There are a number of points here that were not included, right, in the Ben Ishchai. For one, the Ben Ishchai wrote, right, he wrote that only if someone sleeps less than 6 hours on occasion will not be harmed. Oziel recommended sleeping less on the nights listed above. Another thing mentioned in conceal is that there's a special merit in sacrificing a part of 6 hours of sleep for the honor of the Torah. Furthermore, he added that the nights of the Shovavim, right, period, to the times when there's such a practice is recommended. So during Shovavim also, right, Shemot, Vayera, Bo, Beshalach, right, you have also Yitro Mushvatim, and then sometimes, Tat, Chumat Tetzaveh, that's like this year. Okay, the Magen Avraham recommended sleeping 8 hours a day, citing a pasuk, I slept, right, Yashanti, right, Vazinuachli, and then a comfort came to me. So he says the word az is a numerical value of 8. Aleph and Zayin. So it's 8. So he says that Rishon LeZion related that this was once brought to the attention of Zaman of Volozhin, the brother of Chaim Volozhin. He used to sleep regularly 4 hours a night, devoting his entire night's Torah study. When challenged about the correctness of his behavior, he replied that the pasuk ends with the word li, to me. The words li has a value of 40. This means that out of 48 hours, one may sleep 8 hours and be comfortable during the 40 hours, waking hours, and that's exactly what I do. When he said, you're bringing me a pasuk for the first word of the pasuk, I'm going to bring you for the last word. The last pasuk is li. What's li? Lamed yod, 40. So he says there's 48 hours in a day. I take 40 hours for me, for Hashem, in 2 days. And then, so he says, so that's what he's saying. So the az is for li. Understand? Fine. So he says that Tiferet Yisrael cited Rambam's instructions that people must sleep 8 hours a night. He commented that this rule applies to people younger than 50 years old. After that, the day's activities do not wear down the body as much as and less sleep is necessary to recoup the body's losses. For older men, 5 or 6 hours of sleep is sufficient. You heard Baba Haki, since you're 50 already, that's it. Yeah, 4 hours of sleep a night. Yeah. Okay. So he says
49, I'm 49.
Okay, it's the attitude that counts. The Taz cited the Rambam explaining the pasuk, right? You should know in all your ways that a person should eat and drink nourishing foods and keep his body comfortable so that he'll be healthy and strong to devote himself to serving Hashem. If this is his intention, he'll be rewarded for eating as much as another person will be rewarded for fasting. Some people deny themselves sleep in their quest for more and more Torah study. Others allow themselves plenty of sleep, so will be totally alert when they awaken studying Torah. The second group might spend less time in Torah study, but they can often accomplish much more than the first group. And that's what the Taz says in the pasuk, right? For not you, right? He says, Shav lachem mashkim ekum, right? Ki me'acharei shevet. It was a pasuk. He says, for not you rise so early and stay up late at night, but Hashem gives sleep to those who grant him love. This means that if someone sleeps longer, but his intention is in order to study and have better clarity in his study, Hashem will grant him Torah wisdom equal to those who force themselves to do with little sleep and spend many more hours in Torah study. It all depends on the person's attitude.